My name is Daryl, and I've been a member here for more than 10 years. 10 years ago, I asked the group to make tops, and what I'm talking about today is the different ways that those tops have made an exceptional impact around the world. The first two pictures you're going to see are introduction into a life, I guess. So 10 years ago, in 2014, I was awarded an all-expense-paid working trip to Ecuador to volunteer at a children's hospital doing orthopedic surgery. Having never done any volunteer work, not having a clue, but knowing they were kids, I asked the group about making some tops, and Jack graciously hosted a top learning experience at his old place. And a bunch of people went, they made a bunch of tops. I took them to a country that I didn't speak the language, but I found out that smiles and laughter are universal. So if you go to a group of people, you know, and share some tops, it's great. But in a place like this, you see those people sitting in the hallway? Next. These are people, oh, where'd the other hallway go? Never mind. Anyway, there's a couple hallway pictures of people sitting. These are people that have walked at least 8 hours to get to this hospital for a chance to maybe be seen, to have their kid be seen. These kids are sitting here after walking 8 hours, waiting another 8 hours with nothing to do. There were 2 kids I saw that had an iPad. I'm pretty sure it wasn't theirs. So I'd walk over and do a little spin top in front of a little kid, because you got to pick out the little kid. And once you got them to be able to do it well, you know, the other big kids are watching, and they're like, So once the little kid's good, then you give the other kids one, and, you know, they're fumbling, but you've already taught the little kid how to do battle tops, you know. Knock his over, knock mine over. So he's beaten up on all the big kids that have picked on him for the last 16 hours. And I found out it's really great. These kids, when I saw them later in the week, they come to the OR clutching this little thing in their hand. They're in the recovery room. Go ahead. Yes. There's the other hallway. Go ahead. Okay, now this is some of the kids. They're playing on, this is in the lobby of the hospital wing where they were being seen. Keep going. This little kid, look at his feet. His feet go this way. He would run, he would fall, he would laugh, he'd spin his top and giggle and keep going. Keep going. Another little girl, she's got issues going on. See that grin? See that top in her hand? Keep going. These two they had nothing. They have a piece of paper that they're trying to spin it on because one of them couldn't get down on the floor. One's in a wheelchair. This is their everyday life. Some of the people weren't quite kids. They were mentally handicapped. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. These are all kids that got a top, amongst others. These people giggled like crazy playing with theirs. Keep going. To the point where post-op, this girl waved me over 7 days later. She goes, oh, come here, come here. She said, look what I can do. Super proud. Had that with her in surgery, had it with her for a week. You give this to somebody here, maybe a day, maybe 2, it's going to be tossed. These guys clung to them. This is what you guys have done for kids.
Can you turn up the volume a little bit for Zoom people? Just got a message from Dave.
Next picture.
You gotta speak up there.
Okay. Next.
You gotta speak up.
Louder?
Yeah.
Okay. That brought me to my next mission trip, which is Mercy Ships. This is the kind where you actually pay to go and work for them. But it's a very cool experience. In 5 years ago, 2019, I went to Guinea, Africa. I thought I had seen poor in Ecuador until I went to Guinea. Next. This is a post-op of, nope, not that. Some of them got out of order. This is the before and after of this boy. Okay? For my third trip, you guys, some of you donated money, some of you hadn't handed me money along the way. This is some of the stuff you get to help do. Next. This thing here in their hand, that woman is about my size. That gives you an idea how big that thing is, okay? Next. And we'll get back to her. Before and after of this child, same kid. Keep going. Same. Look at those legs. Look at that face. These people are happy, they're ecstatic, they're getting a new life in a country where they have nothing. Keep going. Same here, another one, crazy legs. Next. Cleft lip, cleft palate we have here, we get it fixed as infants, they don't. It's a new life for this kid. Nobody talked to him, nobody cared. Before and after, next. Same kid, next. Okay, remember the big thing in their hand? This is from this woman here. The very first picture you saw was her after. That thing that was this big was that. Next. That's her afterwards. Same woman. Same one you just saw, that's her. Would people be happy with scars like that here? No. She's ecstatic, over the moon, full of joy. Next. This little girl doesn't have a nose. Next. They took a little patch, made her a nose, cute as could be. Next. Look at that grin. She held on to her top for as long as I saw her. Next. Next. We actually do work. I didn't want you to think I didn't really do anything while I was there. But if you notice, laying on that stand, what my tool is, it's a hammer. You guys can relate. Next. Well, my hand's on it now, but it's still the hammer. Next. Different procedure. You can see the lump sitting there on the corner of that stand, about this big. That'd be about the size of one of these. Next. Same, next. Same, next. Okay, so we're in Guinea. Remember I told you I thought it was poor in Ecuador? This is a community. That's kind of a house. That one building there isn't a house. It looks like it should be. That's kind of where they cook food in their fancy restaurant. Next. This is how they cook. They didn't have a house. That's just their place. Next. This is the fancy restaurant. Next. This little girl was sent by her parents to try and get money from us. She's working. She's out to try and get money. This is the life the kids have. A simple toy for her would be wonderful. Next. We weren't allowed to give her one. This is a house. Next. This is that same community, that yellow building. There's people that live on either side of that wall. No roof, no nothing. Next. That tree is their laundry post. Next. That's the well where the kids go get water and carry those big things on their heads. Still laughing, still smiling, but had a great time playing with their tops. Next. Same, you can see how little some of those kids are. Next. That's another house. 3 families live in that one. Next. Some of the kids, they have only sand, so tops didn't work too well for them till they found the steps. Next. Next. Some of them were just cute as could be. I had to throw them in. Next. Tough guys. Next. A different view. See the tree in front of the tree there? That's somebody else's house, if you want to call it a house. Next. This was where they cooked the fancy meal we had at the fancy restaurant. Next. That's our view from the fancy restaurant. That's our chairs, and if you look out, that was our designer view. Next. This is in Senegal. We've moved on from Guinea. This is what kids do when they're bored. But you know what they can do while they're sitting there or in their beds? Play with tops. And they do. Next. Okay, watch this kid in the green. Look at his right hand, it's bandaged. He was so excited, he spoke no English other than numbers. And he'd be like, ooh, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, because he got 2 spinning at the same time. And he only has one hand, and he's not left-handed. Then he got 3 going. Simple things, but he was on top of the world. Next. This girl is my hero. While all the kids are spinning tops, both of her hands are bandaged. And there she goes. She doesn't want someone to spin it for her. She doesn't want help. She can do it. I offered her a different one that was bigger, and she's like, nope, I want the other one. She did that for a while we were playing. I only got to stay out with him for about 20 minutes. Next. But that girl was my hero. I couldn't be prouder of that. That's something you guys did for her. This girl is in rehab. Her arm is like this because she has a brace here because she was burned like this, and they released all that. So she can't put her arm down. So she's my rehab girl. You'll see her later on. Next. These are the kids out on the veranda just having a good time. That's another one. See her arms out like this as well? She's reaching down with her one hand and playing. They get a half an hour outside a day, and this is what they're doing. Next. You can see the crowd's growing. But look at the grins. Like, look at the little green guys grin. They don't have their names. Next. Look at that little pink guy's grin. Oh my goodness, he laughed and laughed and laughed. Thanks to you guys. That's the kid getting his 2 or 3 going. Even the workers had fun. Next. Oh wait, sorry, it's not done. Go ahead, you're good. I actually don't even get to go out and play with the kids because my job is in surgery. So because you guys made tops, I actually got to go out and play with the kids, so thank you for that. Next. This is in Botswana. My talk, I gave the kids tops, and there was a message that came with the tops. And one of the questions I asked the kids was, is anybody a maker? And they're like, no. And there's 150 kids in a school here. And what about food? Do you make food? Do you make this? Oh, yeah. Afterwards, this boy came up to me, gave me that ladybug, and said, I made this. I want you to have it. I am a maker. Very cool. A girl hunted me down and said, how do you make tops? I want to know. The only picture I had was of John Sinofsky at the lathe demonstrating tops. And she's like, okay, I can work with that. She's about this tall. She wants to go to her library, which is not like a library here, and do it. Next. This is the orphanage in Botswana where the kids are getting a bedtime story. Give you an idea what their life's like. That's one of 5 different sections. Next. It's hard when it's all out of order. More bedtime story, smaller kids. Next. Laying around, sitting in their lockers, Next. But this is the response we got to send to you guys. This is a kid who got a top, and he's like, thank you. So that was for you guys from them. Next. They love selfies. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you pick up your phone, and they're all surrounded. I didn't have enough tops to give to 500 kids. Next. These are 2 boys at the orphanage. This is what Dave made, little birds that go down. These 2 boys don't have dexterity or even mental capacity to spin a top. They loved the birds. They played with those. I'm afraid they were going to be broken, but they were very careful in their roughness. Next. Look at the grin on that face. And the other one is studying it. I mean, it's what he does. He studies things. He could make it work better than the other kid, but the other kid laughed and laughed. So thank you, Dave, for those 2 things, because those 2 boys loved them. Next. We went visiting villages of people who had cinder block homes the size of this corner, if they were lucky. Most of their stuff was outside. And that was where I got to do my first thing with tops in Botswana. We had a translator who went, and he would kind of work his way into the people to see if, we could visit, because we do stand out in Africa, And they were very gracious. They made sure you had a place to sit, even if it was a rock. And then I'm standing there minding my own business, and I say to the guy, I said, hey, the message with the tops is when life is spinning out of control, and it falls over, I said, God says just ask, and I'll pick you back up and get you spinning. When life is crazy and you fall off the edge, I only had a chair to work with, so knocked it off the edge. Just ask. Pick it up. Ask me, I'll get you spinning again. And when you're spinning great and you're just going to town, he's still there. In 10 years, I've never had a message. You know, I'm just standing there. It's like one of those God whispers in your head. Don't know what your faith is. This is mine. Is like, hey, this is the message. I'm like, okay. Turns out I gave that message to 10 schools, 4 families when we were out visiting, and all of them were receptive. Who it mattered to, I don't know. My job was just to give it and share. The adults wanted tops. The moms are sitting there spinning tops on a chair with each other. They got 10 kids in school that aren't coming home. So I told the guy to tell her, when you're really good, here's battle tops. So I explained battle tops to her. I said, but get really good before your kids come home. Oh my goodness, they giggled like crazy. You have no idea the amount of joy that your little scraps of wood that you would throw away. Bring these people. Next. These are some of the kids at the orphanage. They're getting their little bedtime story at night. This is the 3rd group. Next. Oh, that's the ship at night. Just thought I'd share it because I think it's an awesome picture. Next. Okay, so we're to the point where it's called Things There That They Have Here. So that is delivery. So that would be Lowe's delivery. Next. That is, you know what that is? Anybody know? Hay bales. Next. This is the furniture store. Looks like ours here, right? Next. This is, what do you call stuff on a wall? Where would you go for that? You know, like a store that sells pictures and stuff. Kind of like that. I can't think of the store now. Total blank. Next. Yeah, that's it. Next. Okay, you can see the guys mixing cement, sort of. So that's the brickyard. They were making bricks and laying bricks. Next. That is a tree, so that's like going to the nursery there. Next. That's the window store, where you go to like Burke & Sons or wherever you get your windows. Next. That is local delivery. For us, it's CRW. I don't know what local in Indiana is. Next. That's the toy store. It used to be Toys R Us. Next. There's another view of it. Next. That is the kid store, clothing and stuff. There was a children's shop in Punxsutawney. I don't know what there is now. Next. That's Ace Hardware. Look like Ace Hardware at home. Next. That is kind of like an Ace Hardware sort of store, 84, any of those. Next. And you just go into their little garage door and shop. This is parking, street parking. Obviously not on the street, but on the sidewalk. Next. That's construction. If you look close, you can see sticks, twigs, whatever. That's their 2x4s. Next. That's personal delivery. Next. Swimming pool store. You can get those 2 things there for a ridiculous price because they ship from here for like $75. If you get them here, they're 20. Next. That is the hardware store. That guy is an American hardware store guy, he claims. Next. That's the upstairs of it. Next. Air conditioning, they're actually all just fans. Next. Fabric store, Joanne Fabrics. Loved that place. Next. Obviously. Next. That's the entrance to get into it. That's the whole store there. Next. That's the butcher shop. Next. Ice cream shop. That actually was good. Next. Coleman cooler. That cooler there I have on my porch I got for $20. It was $200. Next. Lumber store. Anybody buy lumber? There you go. Next. Thank you to John for making the tops. That's the picture I showed to the girl who can't wait to be able to do it. Next. Part of the demo. Next. there's no sound to this, but that's the occupational therapist, physical therapist on the ship who was saying how much these tops that you guys sent would be beneficial to the kids, especially like the burn kids. You saw the ones with their arms out. Tons of kids with burnt hands. Those bandages you saw on the kids' spinning tops, all burns. All kids that, have had burns since they were little. They use that in rehab a lot. This is my rehab girl. She had no idea how to spin a top. But she was our hero. She came up. She was okay doing it. She was great about trying everything. And the physical therapist took at least 50 to 75 different sizes, because there were different sizes made. Some as thick as this were great for those kids starting out. I don't know who made the bigger ones, but they loved them. And then the tiniest little ones for when they got better. Next. That's you guys who sent me on my way. 5 different countries over 10 years' time. You guys have done amazing things for people that you don't even realize. I can't begin to show you. These are the 2 ladies that went with us. These are the little guys. They are waiting to get their tops. We took bubbles and tops. We played bubbles first, then tops. Next. Look at the smiles. Next. Next. That's those 2 guys. I thought I had a video of them, but I guess not. Oh, so maybe that was.
Put that on my PC.
That's okay.
Try clicking through. Click over here and see if anything else works.
Yeah. Then that's the end, because that's the 3 of us that went to deliver the tops to the orphanage. And those 2 ladies had a blast because of stuff you did. I can't begin to thank you guys enough. No matter what I show you, it doesn't begin to show you the joy that you shared. Thank you.